What's up YouTube? My name's Cricky, welcome back to the channel. Today's a good day actually, because for the first time in ages my bench is free. The only bit of jigsaw left on it is the frame. That all needs to be welded, so that's going on the weld table. My bench is empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ASBO back up here and on the bench, because I want to have a swing at getting this front end swap done. Or, yeah, at least making a start on it anyway. It ain't going to get done and finished today, but it needs some stuff doing. So basically I've got to pull all the front end apart on that, but I've got to measure up stems and all sorts of other stuff. I've got service kits for the forks and brakes and blah 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 blah. So we're going to get all that lot done, and then hopefully I'll have everything ready and I'll just slap it all together and go out for a hoon. That's what the plan is. Right. Right, let's have a shuffle then. So he's up, and we've got bits. This is the bottom yoke, which obviously I'm going to be running. The shaft, I built it up with weld, ticked it on and whatnot, took it into work, and Brett machined it down for me on a grinder. So yeah, that is going to need to be pressed in. It doesn't just go in anymore, which is good. But there are some differences. So that's a Bandit yoke. That's the Daytona yoke that I'm going to run. They're a little bit thicker. So more of the stem is going to be in the bottom yoke. One option is to machine all this down so it all fits. However, the top is different as well. Top yoke is basically the same thickness as, you know, the same depth as this yoke up here, but we've got a big old recess in here, and that is pretty much the same as what I'm losing at the bottom. So we should end up the same, but I want to make sure before I start pressing pins in, because if I have to pull them out again, I'm gonna lose it. Fella with the bloody van again. Right, whilst he's revving, I'm gonna take all this apart. Because I haven't got my jack here, I went down the reception, had a word with Mark and John down. Can you come and give us a hand, lift it up so we shove some axle stones underneath it? Well, they couldn't lift it. I'm not putting my back out, I'm getting a forklift, says John. So we've had a forklift in here, shoved a bar through the frame, lifted it up, and just to get a couple of... It only needed to go up like 1.5 inches. But anyway, it's up. So that means I can drop all the front end out, press the pin in, and we can have a go. I have got some bearings somewhere. What do I do with my headstock bearings? Oh, let's strip this out first. Well, that was a right palaver getting the forks out. I don't know why, they was really tight in there. You're going to get the tank, aren't you? There we go. Right. That in off. Now see, this is just flush on top, whereas the yokes that's going on it, it's got a big recess, so I think we're going to be alright. Where's my seat spanner? Run, be gone! Okay. Off. Should be out. Yeah. Right. So one set of yokes. All nicely greased from last time I did it. Oh, getting bucky again. Right. Right. So I'm going to change these bearings anyway. You'll get new ones when it gets built. That'll be alright. Cool. I think they're reusing these bearings as well, in combination with the press. Because I can use them to do like dimple dies and stuff as well. That'll be alright. Right, you need to come out, don't you? That's lovely. These were all replaced, so you know, I wouldn't expect there to be anywhere, and they're in. That's grand. Right. Let's. I've got to find those headstock bearings. I need me bearings. Right, I'm sorry about this. I did that thing where you press stop when you're meant to record and the other way. You missed it. I pressed it in with Big Ben. The Big Ben is the name for the 20-ton hydraulic press now. I don't know if you can see, it's all flush. That mark in there was where it was, you know, that was on it before, but it's all dead flush with where it you know, where it was. That's how it came out, and it's gone in. It's a lovely, really nice tight fit. It was quite easy pushing it in, and then, you know, it hits the shoulder in here, and you could definitely feel the tension. So I know it's bottomed out all the way, which is cool. So now it's a case of getting the bearing race on the bottom here, and it should be in. Right, I'm sorry about not catching that bit on Big Ben. I don't normally do that, you know, hit stop when you mean to record, but I did in this occasion. All I'm doing here is just packing the bearing. These take a truckload of grease as well. I'm just working it into the gap, you know, put a load in the palm of your hand, and then just working it into the gap between the inner race and the cage that holds all the roller bearings. You can get loads in. Loads and loads and loads. It all starts coming out where the rollers are. It's just a really good way of packing bearings, I find. Because if you just rub it on here and try and squish it in that way, you ain't going to get it all in. But you get loads more grease into it just doing it this way. It's the way I've always done it. I'm not sure if there's better ways of doing it. You can get these, like, it's like a thing that you shove on and you just pump it and it fills the whole thing with grease. You don't need fancy tools. You just need like 5 minutes, a handful of grease and an attitude. It works. Why go for all these fancy schmancy tools when you just don't need them? Right, I'm not getting much more in there now. Because it's all just coming out here. Right. Right. I'm just greasing all the stem up, just if any moisture does get in there. It helps stuff stop rusting, keep the weather out of it. Right. So he's going to go up there, like that, and that's where we come into the next problem. Lock stops. I didn't even think of that, did I? Right, they're going to have to go, and we're going to have to sort something else out. Fine, so I've had the lock stops off, or most of it. It is going to need to be redone before the bike actually sees the road. Basically, I want to weld on a different shape of tab. At the minute, this is just for fitment. But if I shove the bearing top and bottom so it centralises, yeah, I've got a lock stop, so that's fine. But I would like it to come further forward between these two lugs. And if I do that, I can just use that when I build the bike anyway. I should have had them up here. Right. Boot goes on. Switch down. Collar goes on. There we go. Nip him up for now. At the minute, this is just fitment. I'm not properly adjusting them, but it looks like we're going to be all right. Okay. Where's that top yoke? Because this bit is sort of the moment of truth, really. Come on, please fit. Oh, that's good. Oh, actually, there's that. Right, he goes on there. He's going to sit down like that. See, this is what I don't like, is that the nut goes into the recess on the top yoke, so you can't get a spanner on it properly. So we're going to need to remake that nut, or put a spacer in, or do something, but at least I know it's going to fit. There's enough stem sticking out that I can do that. I'll probably just do like a shouldered nut, but that is going to work. That is going to work. Wrong nut to be using, but it's going to hold it in place. Right. So, we now have a set of yokes, which is cool. It wasn't really hard to do either. Not really, not in the grand scheme of things. Yes, there is a little bit of fussing left to do. You know, lop, stocks and nut, but there was always going to be. But at least I know that the steering stem is actually going to work, and we can get a sense as to what this is going to look like. Oh no! No! Why did she put that one in the bag of rags? Oh, sorry, Craig. I really like that t-shirt as well. I'm going to have to get another one now. Right, just for a laugh, I want to see what these forks are going to look like on it. Let's get those off for a start. What size are you? 8? Right, so the axle goes through. That all threads up nice, which is cool. That is going to work a treat. Oh, I'm liking that. I'm liking that quite a lot actually. Where's the standard ones? That fella in his van is doing my edit. These are the standard forks. Dead plain and boring. Whereas these actually look, you know, they're a bit chunkier, but they look nicer, and more importantly, they're fully adjustable. This, there is no adjustability at all, apart from changing the spring, the weight of oil, and the amount of oil, hence air gap. That's it. Whereas on here, I've got preload, rebound, and compression damping. So we can tweak this and make it work right. These forks are a tiny bit longer than those ones. Tiny bit. But see, I quite like the idea of making my own set of yokes that drops down at more of an angle. Just, you know, because they'll be different. These have got a few nicks and dinks and stuff in. And they're fine for mock-up, but I quite like the idea of having a more of a drop set of yokes, and that way I can make up the gap anyway. But they are way better than these. So So I'm going to have a set of Bandit forks going on eBay shortly. Right, he's alright. So anyway, the axle fits in the forks a treat. However, don't fit the wheel. I've had the dust seal out of it already. I don't know what year it was, but one year they was one size and then the next year it was something totally different. So these bearings need to come out and I need to get different ones. I want to see what the numbers are on this one just so I can get some. The way I've done this in the past is there's like there's a spacer tube in between the two bearings, and you can normally get a drift in there and sort of knock it out one side, then the other, and then the other. But Andy, from Andy's motorcycle sessions, he had one of these. So I thought I would treat myself and get one. Because I don't know if we're going to get into the engine soon, and I don't know if there's any blind bearings or anything else, but these are really good. So I thought I'd get one and give it a go on here. There's not much of a lip to get hold of though, is there? No, you're already out. That one? Where he goes in. No. Yes. So that one is. And the idea I think is that this fits in there, gets under that little lip, and then you can wind it up to expand it slightly to grab hold of the bearing. Well, there really isn't much of a lip to grab hold of at all. Something. I just really like the idea of doing it this way, so we're going to give it a go. Oh, it definitely seems in. Then you just have a slide hammer and you knock it out. Alright, so after much huffing and puffing, I got him out. He's back. He waits until I start and then he drives past. Anyway, I am looking at bearings which are 12mm deep, are 47mm OD, and they'll be 20mm ID. So basically I'll go online, I'll have a look at some bearing supplies and stuff, get some bearings to suit, and that way we can chuck them back in the wheel, and that should all fit up really good actually. The rest of the wheel is a bit crap. The discs on it are shocking, like really bad. Someone's painted the centre of the rotor and stuff, and it's all chipped up and it looks horrible. And the surface on them isn't that great either. It's still well within service limit and stuff, but it's brakes, isn't it? So, you know, why would you muck about? So I'll be getting another set of discs for them. But then the wheel could go on once it gets tyres. Now, Bandit tyre, the stock one, is a 110/70, I believe, on the front, and a 150/70 on the back. So, we ain't going to be running that. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I do have a Bandit 1200 rear wheel up there, which is a bigger rim, and that gives me some more options on tyre choices. However, there is a fair amount of working out that needs to be done. The Daytona front rim, I could stick a 110 on it, or I could go 120. Can't really go, I don't believe I can go bigger on that rim to like a 160, which would be nice. And also, these forks is very slightly different. They're about 50mm shorter. Now, they do have a drop yoke, so again, that sort of takes up some of it. And once I've decided on the tyre choice and everything else, then this top yoke is going to be machined to match it and keep all the geometry the same. Because it does turn in nice and everything else. It could just do with a bit more rubber on the back, I think. Because it just feels a bit sort of, well, it's not skittish, but you know, a little bit more would be nice. So anyway, we're still working all that stuff out at the minute. It shouldn't be too hard. And once I decide what I'm doing, then I can just get on and get it done. It may be that I stick a 1200 Bandit swing arm in it for now. That's an option, because then I can run that wheel with a bigger tyre. Or we may keep the original one and just, you know, see what's needed, basically. So that's probably going to be the next steps once I get all this stuff finished. But that's it, that's where I'm leaving it today. I have done quite a lot actually, and I've only had one coupler. I'm normally on like 6, that's why I'm like that all the time. But anyway, that's where I'm leaving it. I do hope you're all well and staying safe, and we will see you again on the next one. Laters!